UK energy standards.
Oh, sounds exciting.
Specifically, how these standards impact battery storage systems.
The UK is going through a massive energy transition, and battery storage is a key player in making that happen.
Absolutely. But this transition also means a lot of new rules and regulations are popping up. We're here to help you make sense of those, starting with G98, G99, and G100. These standards are like the rule book for ensuring that as more and more distributed energy resources, things like solar panels, wind turbines, and of course batteries, come online, the grid can handle them safely and reliably.
These standards are there to make sure the UK's energy grid doesn't experience a blackout.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
So let's break down these standards one by one, starting with G98.
Okay.
From what I'm seeing in these documents, G98 seems to be the starting point, especially for those smaller scale battery systems.
Right.
Am I on the right track?
Exactly. If you're thinking about residential solar storage, small businesses, that kind of scale, G98 is the standard you need to be familiar with. And one of the most attractive things about it for both installers and customers is its fit and inform approach.
Okay.
What this means is that installers don't need to go through complex pre-approval processes from the DNO, that's your distribution network operator.
But I'm guessing there are some technical requirements your battery system needs to meet to qualify for this streamlined process.
You're absolutely right. One of the key details outlined in this Form A document you provided is the capacity limit for G98 systems.
Okay.
It states that for systems exporting back to the grid, the limit is 16 amps per phase. In simple terms, this means your battery system, if it's a single phase setup, which is common for homes, can export a maximum of around 3.68 kilowatts back to the grid.
Okay.
For three-phase setups, which you might find in larger buildings, that limit goes up to about 11.04 kilowatts.
Okay.
Your system needs to be designed to operate within those limits to qualify for that easy fit and inform G98 process.
That makes it crystal clear. So G98 is all about simplifying things for smaller scale battery installations.
Right.
But what about when we step into the world of larger, more complex systems?
Yeah.
That's where G99 comes into play, right?
Absolutely. G99 is designed for the bigger leagues, utility scale battery storage, large commercial and industrial installations, anything where the potential impact on the grid is much greater.
Tell me more about what makes G99 different.
For starters, you're looking at much more detailed documentation. That power generating module document, or PGMD, that we see mentioned a lot in these documents. That becomes absolutely crucial for G99 compliance. It's essentially a technical passport for your battery system, outlining everything from its performance capabilities to its safety features. That certification process is pretty rigorous. We're talking about comprehensive testing regimes to ensure your system performs as promised under a wide range of grid conditions. Yeah. In some cases, you might even have the DNO come out and witness the commissioning tests firsthand.
Wow. Safety and reliability are paramount.
Absolutely. When you have a battery system that can store and release megawatts of power, any hiccups could have serious consequences for the grid.
Right.
G99 is there to minimize those risks and ensure the stability of the entire energy network.
So we've covered how smaller scale systems can connect to the grid under G98 and how larger systems need to demonstrate their robustness under G99. But what about managing the flow of energy once these batteries are connected? That's where G100 comes in, right?
You got it. G100 sets limits on how much energy can be exported at any given time to prevent sudden surges or drops in voltage that could destabilize the grid. This is especially important as we see more renewable energy sources like solar and wind coming online. They can be a bit intermittent, so having smart battery systems that can respond to these fluctuations and help balance the grid is essential.
It's all about creating a more resilient and flexible grid, one that can handle the demands of a cleaner, more sustainable energy future.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. From a manufacturer's perspective, often G100 goes hand in hand with G99. Especially for those larger battery installations, you'll need to meet the requirements of both standards to ensure seamless integration with the grid. And this is really important for your potential buyers to understand.
Right.
They need to know that your battery system isn't just a standalone unit, but a smart, grid-friendly solution that can actually contribute to a more stable and efficient energy network.
It sounds like there's a real opportunity here for manufacturers who can offer a complete package, a battery system that's not only powerful and reliable, but also designed with grid integration and export management in mind.
It's not just about storing energy, it's about how that energy is integrated into the larger energy ecosystem.
What are some key takeaways they should keep in mind as they develop their UK market strategy?
Well, first and foremost, don't underestimate the importance of demonstrating compliance with these standards. It's not enough to just meet the minimum requirements. You need to showcase your commitment to G98, G99, and G100 compliance. Make it a central part of your sales and marketing pitch.
Because at the end of the day, it's about building trust with potential buyers. They need to know that your system has been vetted and approved by the authorities, that it's going to work as advertised, and that it's not going to cause any headaches down the line.
Exactly. And this is where clear, concise documentation comes in. Remember that PGMD we talked about. Make sure it's thorough, well-organized, and easy for installers and inspectors to understand. Think of it as your battery's instruction manual. You want to make sure it inspires confidence.
It's like that old saying, the devil is in the details. Having those details clearly documented can make all the difference. But it's not just about paperwork, is it?
Not at all. It's also about providing top-notch support to your installers. Remember, they're the ones on the ground actually putting these systems in place. Make sure they have access to the training, resources, and technical assistance they need to do their jobs effectively. A smooth installation process reflects well on everyone involved. Don't be afraid to innovate and go above and beyond these standards. Yes, compliance is key, but it's also an opportunity to differentiate yourself in the market.
Right. What if your battery system didn't just meet G100's requirements for export control, but actually use that data to optimize grid performance and reduce energy costs for the end user?
No, that's thinking ahead. You're suggesting they become leaders, not just followers, in this space. That's a great challenge for our listener to consider.
Exactly. The UK energy landscape is changing rapidly, and the companies that thrive will be the ones who are proactive, innovative, and always looking for ways to push the boundaries of what's possible.
I love it. So to our listener who's ready to make their mark on the UK battery storage market, we've given you a lot to think about today. G98, G99, G100, they're not just letters and numbers. They're your roadmap to success.
And that's a wrap.